Welcome to Comics and Movies, the podcast that we usually try to do every other month. I'm Jake, ComicManJake, along my good friend, Professor Marks, who has been a good friend of mine for how many years now, is it?
Oh, close to 20?
I want to say,
15 to 20, something in there?
Something like that, yeah. So what we're going to talk today is just a bunch of news that has been hitting the comic industry, and it's stuff that was throughout the week that came out, and it's going to affect a lot of things. So we'll dive into it. First things first, the president of DC, her name is
Diane Nelson,
has stepped down completely. What we heard is she originally stepped down for family reasons, but help me out here. I can't.
Oh, yeah, so she had stepped down for family reasons, and it was intended initially to be a temporary leave of absence, but then she decided not to return. I haven't seen any indications as to why. But definitely a big shakeup. Nelson came on as DC's president in 2009, and sort of directed the major restructuring that happened from there on. So yeah, definitely,
It's a huge, yeah. And then, it's kind of funny, 5 days later, Geoff Johns steps down, which that, in my eyes, was like, that was huge. I mean, Most of you guys all know, I love Geoff Johns, he's a Michigan native, and I was kind of scared at first when I read it, but then after reading a little bit more about it, I'm actually more excited. So for people who don't know, Geoff Johns is stepping down as Chief Creative Officer and Co-President of DC, and is stepping more into making his own production studios and doing more comic writing, which after reading that, I was like, good. Because Doomsday Clock is now back on track. He's going to be writing Shazam, which I think is going to be fantastic, because he's already written one before, and really good. And one of my favorite things he's going to be doing, he's going to be producing and writing the Green Lantern Corps, which he's already told us that he's going to be releasing, that the main characters will be Hal Jordan and John Stewart. What do you think about that?
So I mean, as you know, I don't know a lot about Green Lanterns, but I mean, I think a movie focusing on the Corps as its own sort of thing is a good idea. And having both Hal Jordan and John Stewart, I think, is a fantastic idea.
Okay. Then the biggest one thing that was big in the news is AT&T bought Time Warner, and I did not think this was going to go through. I actually thought that.
Yeah, well, and the judge involved was the judge, I think, who approved the Comcast-NBC Universal merger from several years ago.
Really? Oh, geez.
Yeah, so sort of, merger-friendly type. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. In the short term, I guess I don't expect much to change on the comic side of things. AT&T likely is going to leave most of that alone. Again, at least in the short term.
Hopefully.
It isn't like DC didn't have a corporate overlord before and now they have one. They had one before. It's just slightly changed composition. So we'll see what effects it has longer term. But I think at least in the short term, we shouldn't see too many plans change. Might impact who they hire as their next president. But beyond that, I'm not sure what to expect.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Jim Lee's taking over for Jeff now, isn't he, for creative officer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe? I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't think he's really... I'm going off of, I like Geoff Johns as the creative officer because he's a writer, so he knows how to make a cohesive story. I don't know if Jim Lee has written anything. Well, he's produced comics. I know he's produced.
Yes.
He was the founder of Image, wasn't he?
One of the co-writers, I think, yeah.
Yeah, co-founders of Image.
And artists know how to put stories together, too, in a lot of cases. But yeah, I'm a little worried because he was one of the two people, along with Dan Didio, behind the New 52. So we'll see. At least again in the short term, I think he probably isn't going to want to change a lot of things, given that DC's on the comic side is quite successful at the moment.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how much of that was Geoff Johns' sort of, creative direction versus just the particular writers and artists they've got working for them now.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited. I mean, and just kind of going off that merger, like, because that went through, now Comcast is finally, I think you said that they finally did put that offer in.
Yes. For the 21st Century Fox stuff. Yeah, their all cash offer to compete with Disney's I think primarily stock focused offer. What
do you think is going to happen? Do you think, like, corporate wise, that they're going to go with it, or do you think Disney's going to match and go over? Because I think Disney's going to match.
Disney's at least going to fight for it, I think. I don't know enough of the details beyond that, but if I had to guess, Disney will probably end up with the rights to use at least Fantastic Four and possibly also X-Men characters. Whether they get that because they acquire 21st Century Fox, or they get that because they make some deal with Comcast, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I just don't want Comcast getting it. I don't want to see another roller coaster ride having to be with Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I mean, we walked in, when Gwen and I went down to Florida, we went to the Universal Studios, and I remember just randomly just going, like, what the hell is Hulk doing here? I literally was like, what the frick is Hulk doing here? And it didn't hit me until, like, I was, doing more research about, like, comics and realizing, oh, Comcast owns the Hulk. And I'm like, oh, God. Oh, God.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I'm hoping we can finally get a good Fantastic Four movie somehow.
Just give it to Kevin Feige. He's, for most people that don't know, also, he's also waiting. Like, I've heard there's so much articles saying he's just waiting for he has everything planned out. He's waiting for the call to just say, you can go. We got the rights. Yeah. You do what you need to do. Because, I mean, why not, like, do that? And maybe Comcast does do it, and they do the whole, same kind of deal that Universal's doing. I'd still like it to be back to the rights so they can do a full story and get, like, the money for it and everything. Because the sad part about the Hulk stuff is, like, we're never probably going to see a standalone Hulk until he goes back. Until, like, they give him the rights back. So, yeah. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is DC's streaming service has been announced.
Yeah.
They announced the date, they have announced more details, and oh my god, I am beyond excited for this. Like, when I heard at first it was just going to be TV shows, I was kind of like, I guess I can get behind it, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But, like, afterwards when they're like, oh, and it's also going to be comics, and I'm like, okay, canceling Hulu? Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering what they're kind of going to do with it, because they won't. I don't think they might do the same thing that Marvel Unlimited does, which is the 6-month thing, or they might actually just go full on digital, because Comixology now does their own.
Yeah, and they should, I think, offer some kind of, however they structure it, I guess doesn't matter, but their back catalog should be available digitally.
Yeah. Because
on some kind of subscription and not just, purchasing single issues.
Because that would help out a lot.
Yeah, well, and because, DC's got a lot of history to it that is pretty difficult to get your hands on. I mean, DC is much better about making that kind of thing available outside of some kind of digital service than Marvel is. But it's, in many cases, still pretty difficult to get your hands on stuff. And so, a comparatively inexpensive streaming service, I think, would bring a lot of people in.
So, have you seen the shows that are going to be on that, right?
Yeah.
Which one are you most excited for?
Well, so maybe this is premature, but I'm hopeful that Teen Titans is good. Just because.
Oh, Titans? Okay.
Yeah. I forgot if it was called Teen Titans or just Titans.
It's called Titans, I think. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, I think that.
I'm good. Yeah.
And we'll, just because I think the cast of characters is good. It's something that hasn't been explored in a TV show in a while. And it would be a good base to sort of build up a large part of their universe from if they want to expand into a bunch of sort of connected shows.
You see, like, I'm kind of excited for that and nervous, mainly because, like, they've been showing, like, Dick Grayson will be wearing the Robin suit, and I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
Well, I was like, at first I'm like, oh, okay, if they're gonna go that route, great.
Mhm.
But then they're like, oh, there's gonna be Red Hood, as in Jason Todd Red Hood, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, unless they're flashbacks, I mean, I don't know.
It could also be that they're going to have the like Robin Nightwing transition happen in a story arc. I don't know. Yeah,
We'll see.
Like, I'm not saying the show's going to be great, but at least that's the one I'm most looking forward to seeing because I think that's their best opportunity to really set things up well.
I'm actually maybe a little bit more excited for Swamp Thing.
Oh, really? Do you want to say why?
Well, I haven't read any of the Vertigo stuff yet, which I heard that one's like I think it's Alan Moore that does that.
Yes.
And I have not read any of it yet, but I've heard it's fantastic. The stuff I'm actually reading off that I've read off is, yes, I know you don't like the New 52, but but I thought personally, as a guy who was just getting back into comics, that was a perfect jumping off point.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So like, I never like. For those who don't know, like there are a number of people that are writers that I will pick up no matter what they do. Geoff Johns is the number one. Then it's what was it? Grant Morrison, Robert Venditti, Jason Aaron, and then Scott Snyder. And Scott Snyder actually made a the Swamp Thing. He did a Swamp Thing for the New 52, and it's, oh my god, it's amazing. It ties in with Jeff Lemire's like Animal Man because it's the green and the red. They find out there's a crossover one. It's I haven't read his full, like I've read his first volume because they had a huge like DC like New 52 like sale, and it was literally like for like $1 you could get it. So I just like, yeah, okay, it's Scott Snyder, so I'll read it. And yeah, after that I was like, okay, whenever that sale comes again and it's Scott Snyder, and I'm gonna buy his actual volume, and it came on sale, it was $5. I'm like, done. It's usually $40. I'm like, done. But I'm interested to see how they kind of do that. Special effects wise, it's going to be amazing if they get good special effects.
It's either going to be amazing or really bad.
Yeah, CGI-ish. I mean, another one I'm kind of excited for too is Young Justice. Have you ever watched any of those?
You know, I haven't. And so that's probably why I'm not as excited for that. But I know a lot of people are, and so yeah, I'd like to.
It was good. I mean,
yeah.
If you liked Teen Titans, but before Teen Titans Go.
Yes.
Let's not talk about that.
Let's not talk about that.
That's just horrible. I'm still mad that they're like. Sorry, I'm gonna go off on that tangent, but I'm mad that they're like, if the movie does well, we'll bring back the original. I'm like, no, that's horrible. You're gonna make me sit through and watch that? Hell no! Hell no! Gosh. But like, Young Justice was actually really good because it did get to a point where I think in the second season, like, Dick became Nightwing.
Nice.
And they did not put Jason Todd, but they did put Tim Drake as Robin.
Good.
They never introduced Todd, or never like I don't think they ever mentioned him.
Unless you're going to do his like Todd's entire story, I don't think he's actually worth introducing as a character.
Which I think they're doing that in Titan.
Yeah,
because the first edition, I think the first episode's called Jason Todd.
Okay.
Or something like that. And it is. Yeah, that's where again what I was like. They're putting the Robin costume back on. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this if Jason Todd is Red Hood already, or if he's turning. I don't know. We'll see.
So, can I change my answer from Titans to Young Justice then?
Why?
From before, if
sure. Yeah, I guess so.
Let's do that.
I mean, it could be good. I mean, again.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know. I mean, there've been been like photo leaks that were really bad, but they were like the thing that people don't realize is that that's pre-production. So pre-production, like you're gonna look like crap. You're not. They haven't put any of the special effects of CGI or fillers or something that they're having to put on there, so it looks like shit.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, he can agree with me on this because when we did our first video, we looked like absolute fools. And you guys probably felt like fools when I said, do this. Pretend you're on fire. Dylan, pretend you're throwing an energy ball. But, like, you look at it without it and it looks stupid. But then when you add the old effects and everything, then it looks amazing. So, again, whoever leaked those, shame on you. But, I mean, it could be good, could be bad. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I think the one I'm least excited for, though, is the Harley Quinn.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I have no interest. Unless Maggie, what's-her-name, is playing it. I mean,
Margot Robbie?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, Margot Robbie, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless she's playing it, then I'll pay attention. But if she's not,
Yeah.
no.
Yep.
Nope. So. Alright, Tucker, is there any comic books you're excited for?
Oh, so I just saw the announcement about Tom King's new series starting in September called Heroes in Crisis.
For those who don't know, he's a huge Tom King fan.
Yeah, so this is going to be really cool. King has been hinting at what he's called Sanctuary for several months now. Which is supposed to be a place that heroes can go to when they're facing sort of severe mental trauma. For example, Poison Ivy was sent there at the end of her recent arc in his run on Batman. Booster Gold, I think, is going there also. And so this, as far as I know, is a series that's sort of focusing on developing that idea further. So that's going to be really cool. How about you? Any comics you're looking forward to?
I'm hoping Bendis' run get better. Honestly, like, I read the first 2 stories, and, I mean, the first one was kind of like, well, I can't judge it. Like, as much as I was like, oh, I'm kind of nervous, but I can't judge it because it's the first one. They have to set the foundation. The second one kind of piqued my interest a bit, but I was still kind of nervous. I just bought the third one on Wednesday, and, yeah, I'm kind of a little still nervous about it. But I think the actual one I'm really actually excited to read is actually Robert Venditti's Hawkman. I mean, that one kind of... Robert Venditti set himself really well when he did Green Lantern. He picked up right after Geoff Johns, and he was writing ever since. He's now, like, ending, I think, at issue 50 with Hal Jordan the Green Lantern, and he's done nothing but a good job. I mean, he made the amazing concept of putting, like, Hal Jordan as, like... He's so powerful, he can create, like, with his own will, he creates his own ring. It's like, it's so bad. Oh. It's so, you gotta read that. When you're done with Geoff Johns, you gotta read that.
Right.
It's amazing. But apparently it's supposed to be, I haven't read it yet, but apparently it's supposed to be, like, an Indiana Jones thing.
Oh, cool.
Which, I love Indiana Jones. I love the whole archaeology. I mean, anything probably like Uncharted, too. I mean, I mean, could be good.
Cool, yeah.
So, alright guys, well that's all the time we got for today. Thanks for joining us. Hit that like button, comment down below, and hit subscribe. Catch you later.